Ladies and gentlemen of Twitch chat, my name is Foov, and I'm joined in the booth by the man, the myth, the legend, the ever handsome Captain Atsoka, and we are here at NECC Week 6 on NECC 2 to kick us off with some exciting Rocket League action. Atsoka! I'm not biased, but I'm so excited for this first match. We have the NJCU Gothic Knights going up against Holy Cross Purple, a 3-2 team going against a 2-3 team, so it should be very exciting to kick us off.
Very well, should be exciting. But I do have to say one. No, actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say two things. Number one. Yeah, I'm going to say two things. Number one. Okay, you're making me blush over here. You're doing the absolute most. You're calling me handsome. And I will respectfully agree to disagree, but thank you so much. You're making me blush, darling. All right, number two. This is the number two thing, okay? If you have to say, I don't want to be biased, you're gonna be biased. Like if you have to start it off with saying that I'm not gonna be biased, you're already being biased. I mean, we already know how that's going down. So I'm not gonna hold it against you. And I'm actually for the biases because, you know, everybody's a fan. They got the team they like to root for. So I won't hold it against you. But with that being said, as we're looking at these two teams stacked up, of course, you have the Holy Cross Purple team, which I have learned is from Michigan, correct, Foof?
No, Massachusetts.
It was one of them M states.
One of the M's.
It was one of them. One of the M states. Yeah, or Maryland. But yeah, so not the team that I'm familiar with because where I'm from down here in New Orleans is that we have a college, Holy Cross as well, but it's not them. It's a university, not a college. So still, though, I'm going to be looking out for the Holy Cross team. They're standing with a pretty solid record of 3-2. And then, of course, we got the Gothic Knights from New Jersey. And I'm going to let you tell us a little something about them.
Well, Gothic Knights, they're coming in at 2-3, you know, trying to bake back towards that 500 method. And I gotta say, this is a team that I've enjoyed watching since about a year and a half ago, and I've seen the combination of a group of players that you're about seeing. So if we look at this roster here, there are some familiar names if you followed this team from the NJCU squad. You're certainly going to have Wilson, who is a big team player, who is a big name there, but you also have Jake and you have Charisma as well, rounding out a very, very solid squad for this Gothic Knights team. And so the big thing that always surprises me is how young this squad is, with Wilson only being a junior and then having a pair of sophomores to answer that as well. And so this team is kind of built on having that foundation of this three being able to play so well.
Yeah, and honestly, right now, not only am I looking at, you know, of course, we got the junior, sophomore, so we got two underclassmen, of course, with the junior up there with Wilson. I almost called them Wilson by mistake.
Oh, don't call him Wilson.
No, I'm not. It's Wilson. I got it. But still, looking at what we got right here, we got the finance major and then two management majors at the same time. You know, I'm expecting some big brain plays coming out from this team. And, you know, thinking that the senior would be the management, right? Because they, to me, would probably be the captain of this squad. But we'll see how they use their big-brained, you know, knowledge and education to play things out on the field. We'll see how it goes.
And then throwing it across the other side of the pitch, you have this team in Holy Cross Purple. You have Dr. Iceburn, the junior mathematics major. You have Spicy, chemistry sophomore, and then Not Me, or I believe it's Ogre. And so I'm going to have to look and make sure this is right. And so Not Me being a sophomore in sociology as well. So again, a very young squad on both sides and juniors and a pair of sophomores. So it kind of mirrors each other here. And so if one team can win, if Holy Cross wins, they move to 4-2, whereas that would push NJCU down to 2-4. Whereas if NJCU wins, both of these teams are now tied at 3-3. So this is a game that's going to kind of have echoes throughout these kind of playoff races for both of these squads. And they are going to both be leaning forward, both wanting to put that best foot forward here at Soka. It's week 6. It's the time. The time is now. You have to do what you need to do.
Absolutely. The time is most certainly now. And I got to say, one player that I'm going to be keeping my eyes out for is Dr. Iceburn over there on Holy Cross Purple.
With a name like that, you have to.
Well, not just that, but look at the major. They chose math as their major. I'm sorry, but as far as I'm concerned, you cannot major in math unless you're like a villain. So I'm going to be keeping my eyes out on Dr. Iceburn. But let's go ahead and get into game number 1 as kickoff is already underway. And the offense coming from the HCP is taking no time whatsoever to go straight for the attack here. As yet another shot will go down and by the wayside. Now going up high into the side. Back towards the midfield and a pass down to no man's land. Dr. Iceburn is there to get the 50-50 and swing this attack right back to NJCU.
Yep, the Gothic Knights under some pressure right now is Holy Cross sitting in control of the first 30 seconds. Iceburn back into the corner. Welson looking for a clear. He's got the Brazilian flag. He is a Brazilian as this player tries to find a touch there. Jake looking for Welson off the backboard. That's a beautiful touch. That's passed back down, but a bit too overzealous, is not connecting to each other there. Charisma turning off. He's going to turn back to it here. Able to keep it on, but Spicy with a very well-timed 50 in the beautiful Cobra Kai decal. I already love the spiciness coming out here early as Welson tries to pull the trigger.
Not only that, but the offense still has yet to let up from either side of these teams. I thought it was one-sided with Holy Cross because they were striking early, but now it looks like New Jersey is getting a turn of their own as once again they are just meeting Holy Cross there in the midfield, winning some of these 50-50s like we just saw from Jamie. As now here comes Charisma looking for the swish and the flick, trying to put this one in. But Holy Cross Purple will get the save and hold on just for a little while longer.
I know this one throws you for a loop, but JME is actually Jake, and I don't know why he goes JME, but, you know, as the 5-head that he is, it's just trying to, you know, maybe hide the presence, hide the power, maybe, of the name. That's a pass off the backboard. Ogre waiting for it, but can't get to it. Welson and Charisma to 2v1. He got it under Iceburn, though. Plays so patient. Another shot coming on, and Charisma is putting it through. The Gothic Knights up by 1.
Honestly, this was just like a really saucy shot right here. And, you know, it's nothing spectacular. It looks pretty straightforward, but it goes along with the theory of Rocket League. Now, remember, we're all, you know, fans of the collegiate scene here. We know that there's a lot of education to be found amongst these players. So if you go into Rocket Leagueology and, you know, you get down to the pure doctorate in the science of Rocket League, if you hit anything over 60 miles an hour, it might find the back of the net, but it's not always so. Welson coming in with a bit of a soft touch here off the backboard, being able to find the back of the net, dead center too, getting it past the lonely defender, and already that will be a 2-goal lead in favor of the Gothic Knights.
I mean, Chapter 1, Verse 2 of the Rocket League sacred text, he whoever scores the most goals usually wins the game, and the Gothic Knights doing just that. Ogre with the pressure there, but Jake with the clear, and so the Gothic Knights up to a very quick 2-0 lead, and it is not because of a lack of trying on the Holy Cross side. They've had some offensive opportunities. They've just been stymied in, and once they begin stuck on this defensive half, it has kind of been forced back and back time and time again as the Gothic Knights have built this kind of boost lead as they kind of steal resources. Spicy looking for a shot. That's going to be on, but a save attempt will be denied because that one was a bit too spicy.
Now, you see, this goes back to Professor Captain Etsoka's theory of Rocket Leagueology. If you hit a ball on target over 60 miles an hour, or in this case, 31.61 kilometers per hour, whatever the translation may be, more often than not, it's going to go into the back of the net regardless of a defender being there.
And that was one that had an opportunity to be saved, but Welson just could not slow it down enough with that off the backboard. Welson a bit too overzealous here. Ogre putting a flick on Charisma. Needs to get up to this one. That's a soft touch, but still not a save. A double commit there on the goal line stalls it for now. Iceburn over 1, trying to get over Jake, but Jake is up so fast to deny it. And so Holy Cross had a moment there where it was looking like it could break this into a tie, but the Gothic Knights standing tall, making another stand. Is Spicy putting a shot on. This one's going to slowly float down. The double commit a bit dangerous there coming out from this green and gold squad, but they're able to live through it.
And you see, that's why it's important to take shots on target, even if there's goalies in the net, because you are forcing them to move out of position. You are forcing them to make double commits, because when you're trying to react for the save, you really don't have a lot of time to communicate, especially if you find your defense out of position. So still, regardless of how many goalies you have in the net, do not be afraid to take the shot, because more often than not, it's going to lead to a rebound pass play that more often than not will find the back of the net.
See, the big thing we always talk about here at Soka is not just the first opportunities, but the second and third chance opportunities. And the teams that not only present themselves with the most of those, but then turn those over into goals is the way that they usually find a victory. Ogre off the touch here. Jake can't get to it. And Charisma making the slow roller into a save as now it goes back the other way. Charisma off the backboard and a pass looking for Welson, but he cannot find a favorable touch, so he has to corral this one. That Finnick a bit unruly. Ogre with a touch, but he can't find it. Ogre able out of this play as Welson just gets a 50 and pushes it into this. That's a dangerous miss, but Spicy able to boost back down and stuff that one.
Yeah, right now. But I mean, again, I just have to make the point that Holy Cross right now, they're doing extraordinarily well at, really attacking the back of the net. Even though the time is not on their side, they were able to adapt and really turn things around. And also, all the while, being able to hold New Jersey to that 2-goal score line. But like I said, with the remaining 15 seconds underway, they have really got to score this last second goal.
I mean, that was a missile towards the bat net, and Holy Cross did a great job of digging it out, but that is all three players in the same spot. The Gothic Knights trying to find an extender here and doing just that off the nose of Welson. A second one coming for the Brazilian.
Yeah, and honestly, this is what is to be expected, because when you have the clock against you like this, you're really trying to push the offense as hard as you can, because regardless of whether or not you succeed, chances are you're going to be going down regardless. So they were pushing the offense, they were pushing out of place, out of position, because the time wasn't on their side, and it led to a pretty open net for the New Jersey team to kind of take advantage. So no surprise there, but let's keep rule number 0 alive and dribble this one right on in off the back and forth. And they're going to put this into no avail, but a nice little consolation goal to lead in the game too.
I mean, that is just a beautiful display of mechanics there by Iceburn, because that is so difficult, Twitch chat, if you've never played Rocket League or you aren't at the level where you can dribble, to get to Supersonic and have the ball sitting on your car like that. It forced Welson to go up early to try and stall it off a pinch, but ends up being an own goal. So you said it. It doesn't affect the outcome, but maybe the momentum here starting to build as NJCU, the Gothic Knights, take game 1, but they don't take the last goal, as that was Holy Cross's.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure anybody that's familiar with the NECC or any type of league play in Rocket League, they know that no matter what the scoreline may be, or, if the clock hits 0, you always try and get some goals going into the next game. So that way you can build that momentum, so you can build that morale. So that way you're not going into the next game on a score drought. You got a little bit more of a level head, because you can get goals on the boards. This defense can be beaten. So it's always good to try your might no matter how dire the situation looks.
And here we stand at Soka. The Gothic Knights up 1, trying to find a second to put it together. Charisma putting it over, but there are 2 defenders, Iceburn included, waiting in the wing for that one. Jake putting a shot on, but Spicy is there. Charisma trying to find a pass. He's going to set himself up, but it's off the backboard, so it's a very far reach. Welson can't catch that one. He's made a car switch into the Octane now, and so Spicy looking for a pass, and Jake, that's a dangerous touch. That went right back to his own half.
Yeah, and I like the car switch back to the Octane, because there's an old saying, back in my day, because I'm old as cheese, but... Oh my goodness, even back in my day, we didn't get saves like that. But as I was saying, I like the change to the Octane, because back in the olden days, there was a saying that all roads lead back to Octane. But now, in the new age of Rocket League, it's not so much, because we see so many non-meta vehicles. There's already one non-meta vehicle on the field right now, and I believe it was Ogre that was driving it, and I'm so old school, I don't even know what the name of that vehicle was.
See, I've taken a couple looks at it. I'm going to wait for the camera to get back to it. But my first guess was a werewolf, and I don't think that's what it was. Ogre needs to be careful here, as that dunk from Charisma is stalled out. But I gotta say, I love the topper from Ogre. Just the absolute confidence to wear toppers is so limited nowadays from people. And so I always love seeing any type of topper, and the clown always makes me happy. As that ball back into the corner, it rolls up. Jake collecting this one, and he's going to try and pass it to Charisma. And this is a late leap, and Ogre so quick to shut that one down. The miss there, it's up to Welson to start and get this one away. And so the Gothic Knights, they almost struck out 3 times, and that is the clock striking a 3rd time. And Holy Cross Purple just bided their chance and waited for it.
Yeah, Welson flew too close to the sun on that one. I don't think the flippery doo-dah flip reset was necessary at the midfield, especially when you don't have anybody in the backfield backing you up. Pretty much just gave the goal away to Holy Cross. And don't get me wrong, Holy Cross did a great job at reading the play developing at the midfield, because they were setting up to intercept a pass or a shot regardless. But when you go for that flippery doo-dah flip reset, you better make sure that you hit it. That's all I'm saying.
I think technically he hit it, but he mistouched it more than anything else. Jake looking for a double there, but the waterfall not what he wanted. Another shot coming on. Spicy with the delayed flip to stall it out, but the pressure is still on. The Gothic Knights hunting around for their first goal in this game. And so 20 seconds above the midway point. Jake with a stall at midfield. Ergor is there, and so it puts the pressure back into this orange half. Welson passed one, but can't get it past another. No, he's going to win a dunk there to stall it into the corner for now. And so Jake waiting for this touch, but Charisma opts to take it instead, so it's just super awkward right now in this Gothic Knight half.
Yeah, but now they're going to turn that awkwardness into a little bit of offensive awkwardness, as now Wilson is going to be going off the backboard. Tries to get the touch off the ground, which would have been nuttery buttery, but just couldn't get it. Now Jake going out towards the side and is met by Ogre. Charisma now getting 50-50 by Ogre as well. Ogre is doing extraordinarily well on these 50-50s coming out of the corner, but they're going to opt out to give Dr. Iceburn a turn. And now here comes Jake again, looking for the pass out to the wing, but their teammate was not in the right position. Feels bad. That could have been the play.
That is a dangerous pass, as that should have been one here for the Gothic Knights. And unfortunate not having the third ready to do so, but only down 1 goal, they are okay with it. And I think I did get confirmation from Twitch chat that it is a werewolf. So I got to say, my knowledge of bodies will not let me down, as Jake's knowledge of angles does not let him down.
Yeah, not to mention Wilson with a nice pass, setting that one up high and towards the midfield. Again, just good, solid teamwork and pass plays coming out from the Knights. And honestly, we haven't seen too much of that come from Holy Cross, not as much as I would like to. Holy Cross so far has been doing a really good job of getting these solo isolated goals and really applying the pressure to New Jersey. But as far as intended pass plays, especially around at the midfield are concerned, haven't seen a lot coming from Holy Cross. And once again, it will be Wilson getting involved on the play here, right at the midfield, as Charisma goes up here to put this one right down to their teammate. And the 1-2 connection will once again give them another goal from the midfield pass play.
I mean, that turning speed is just absolutely insane. Wilson predicting the pass and then beating Iceburn, who thought he had to clear the whole way. You blink and you miss it, and the Gothic Knights are now up by 1. A dangerous touch from Ogre. He's got to get this corralled back into the corner. Doing just that, but that pass is there, climbing the ladder. Wilson puts another one on and another one in. The second game in a row for 2.
Yeah, you really got to be careful right here. And honestly, I really don't know what else to say for this one. It was just a nice midfield pass. We saw 2 defenders in net. I want to say that should have been Spicy's ball to get, their save to find, because they were the ones that were in the far post position. But at the same time, that comes down to communication. There was 2 defenders in net, so one of them has got to be shouting out, I got it, back off. Let your teammate know when you're going up for the save, so that way you don't end up double committing and one person has a better chance at getting to the ball.
Now, I just want to focus here. Never mind. This is an offensive chance for Spicy. I'm going to hold my tongue here for a second. But on the backboard there, I don't know who challenged. I think it was Dr. Iceburn versus Jake in midair. If that is not a display of just mechanics and offense versus defense, I don't know what is. You'll see it a lot of times in higher leagues gameplay, but it still amazes me. People coming off the backboard, coming off the ceiling, saving these flips to make these challenges in front of the net. And right now, Holy Cross Purple looked like they were in control, but they lost it quickly as NJCU has just scored 3 unanswered. And now, the last 20 seconds at Soka, they need an answer. They need it now.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of mismatch here and not a lot of communication coming from the Holy Cross squad, I gotta say, because so far I've seen several double commits coming from Holy Cross, and not just that, but I've seen, unfortunately, Ogre, when they were in the corner, they were touching the ball just a little bit too early and knocked it out from a player who was coming in to take a shot and or pass, and it really just gave possession away back to New Jersey. But with that being said, New Jersey absolutely popped off, and they're going to get another goal to take home on the road.
Spicy trying to save this one, and a save and a clear are 2 different things. The pressure stays on. Charisma gets to sit back and enjoy the angle of that one as Wilson puts a 3rd in. Hat trick on it, and having a 19 meter per second goal. Not always the quickest, but 3 for 3 for that one for Wilson, putting his team not all the way on his back, but definitely that flag runner as he led that offense ahead at Soka. And so now we sit at match point. The Gothic Knights trying to force their way ahead and find a 3-3 footing, whereas Holy Cross Purple, they're down 0-2, and they don't want to find themselves at that 500 mark.
Yeah, they certainly don't, but if you're going to try and make it not happen, you really need to turn around now. You're down 0-2 in the series. It's a little bit too late to be trying to make adjustments. You have got to start participating, especially in the communication. Like I was saying during the match, I did not see a lot of communication coming from Holy Cross. There was too many double commits. They were touching the ball instead of leaving it for their teammate. They weren't really rotating. You have got to talk it up on the mics. Y'all know me. You know me, Foof. I talk more than probably I should. But the point is, you know what my intent
you.
is every time. But that's what I'm saying. I talk so much that you always know what's going on up in this big bald brain. You always understand. So it's really important on the Holy Cross side of things. They need to communicate, because we saw no shortage of communication coming from the Knights. They were on top of it. You said Wilson put the team on his back, though. But did he? All those plays that came from Wilson came off the back of a pass coming out of the midfield and then coming out of the corners as well. We can't forget about the homies that are backing up Wilson. Wilson was really being fed the ball as the shooter for that team.
They're sharing the sugar.
Led to that. Yes, that's what led to that victory.
Well, it is up for both of these squads to find themselves in the winning ways. Right now, it is just full steam ahead for the Gothic Knights of NJCU and Holy Cross Purple. They are good in spurts, and they find very impressive plays. Now they just have to do it for a 5-minute stretch to try and keep this series alive as they look to stay above a 500 mark. NJCU prepped for a possible sweep in week number 6. A bump is huge, but no shot coming through as Charisma is stalled out there by Iceburn.
Yep, and already things are going pretty quickly on the side of Holy Cross. Once again, you know, they were found a little bit down and out for the last 2 games, so they're really going to have to score the first goal here if they want to try and build a little bit of momentum to try and mount some type of a comeback.
Very slow touch there from Ogre trying to stall this one out. He actually set up Spicy beautifully, so maybe a breakout, but that lack of boost. Jake returning volley, just return to Cinder. A double commit there on the back line. Spicy putting this one back, and so a bit of a volley right now, ping-ponging, you know, both sides trading possessions. Jake looking for a pinch with Charisma, and I think it technically works, so it flips the field all the way back the other way. I feel like I'm watching like a game of Uno where both players are turning the reverse card back and forth and back and forth.
Honestly, it does seem that way. And again, this is probably the longest we've gone without a goal so far in this series. Again, if I'm capping, say Cap's capping, because I could be mistaken. But with the return volley coming from Holy Cross right now, they really need to be the team to score first here in this game, because it will set the tone for the remaining time as we are getting ready to hit 3 minutes and 20. They need to have that morale in their favor if they want to try and take a win here and deliver a loss to New Jersey.
Well, I think the first thing they deliver is the ball into the back of the net, and that's always really good for both of these teams as we sit now 120 seconds off of the clock, and neither team have been able to do that. Jake looking for a far post shot. That's going to be a pass, but a dunk denied there, as once again Dr. Iceburn, he's been very quiet in the numbers, but I think he's had 4 or 5 saves that were not counted that have certainly been off of that octane. A bump attempt there from Charisma as Wilson was waiting for it but could not find it. And I'll say Jake's blue car has thrown me off a couple times in this match.
I think that's the whole point and purpose. I see it all the time in a lot of esports tournaments, is that you'll have that one off-color car, and it throws me off, and I'm sure it throws off the oppressors and or opposition. So it's probably all good and gravy on that side of the field. But now we're seeing the return volley once again coming from Holy Cross as they try to find the back of the net, but just cannot get past that Gothic Knight defense.
Well, neither team can. It feels like it's both offenses are not ineffective. It's just the defenses have kind of woken up now. And with both of these teams having such a vertical offense, it's about just getting in the right positions to stifle it. And so with both teams spread out, neither team can get the hooks in to dig in for that really good offensive stand. And so it's just been trade of possession, back and forth, kind of watching two duelists here. Neither able to find a blow, but parrying each other's as they do so. Charisma waiting for it here, going off the backboard. That's a bit low, and Iceburn waiting for it patiently. Wilson with the boost steal, opening the door for Jake, but he can't find the touch. Wilson pulling it right in the middle. He put it in the middle of all three.
Yeah, they literally got tripped up here. And again, great pass play coming out for sure. But look at the shot placement coming from Wilson, literally putting that one just out of reach out of all 3 defenders. And it was the speed. They were just too quick. They were way too speedy for HCP to really keep up, and that's why they kind of tripped over themselves in their own net.
Well, that is the one that NJCU wanted, and if you're a Holy Cross fan, you did not want to see, because it has been difficult sledding here when Holy Cross gets behind, as I think they've only scored 1 from behind as they look for a pass here. Spicy can't find that one. Jake's looking for a pass midfield, but it's a bit too far. Credit for a shot here, and that's a bump onto his teammate. Wilson collects that friendly fire and puts another in.
Yep, and again, nothing short of impressive on this one. This was actually a pretty nice shot, getting up very quickly to put that one down and in. And but what did we see? We saw yet another double commit coming from Holy Cross, which honestly, it's not a surprise, but it's still disappointing to see, especially when we're in the last game of the series, and we really hope that they were to make some type of a comeback. And now you're just seeing them fall into their old bad habits of an unfortunate double commit.
It was unfortunate, but it was less of a double commit and more just a miss landing off of the jump, and it stifles out that defensive attempt. And so now they have to build up here at Soko. They have to find one quickly, and that's the one they might need. But Wilson, the man, will not relent. He does not give an inch and denies it. I think he was stolen from a save there, but now the Gothic Knights still on attack, still trying to add to this lead. Charisma and Wilson just playing a nuisance at the middle stripe. A 50 coming through. Spicy is sent to the other side of the world. Wilson playing slow here. Spicy put a shot on, but Jake, the communication, knowing you need to be the third man, waiting beautifully. So 20 ticks left. HCP needs 2.
Yep, and now with the final seconds approaching, it's really looking all in favor of the Gothic Knights as they hold on to this comfy 2-goal cushion. And now a demo getting played on the field, but if you ask me, too little, too late. I think the demo meta, the physical play should have came out way earlier, and when in doubt, you bump them out, but we did not see that come out for Holy Cross, and that will be the Game 3 dub and the series win for the New Jersey Gothic Knights.
So you saw me holding up threes there. That's because both of these teams now at Soka rest at 3-3. So I don't know exactly how that'll work, but it makes this race a little bit more interesting for both of these squads. But the Gothic Knights move up to 500, and Holy Cross Purple falls down to 500. And really, we talked about it a lot at Soka. It was really this kind of team mentality, team first, working and understanding what is with and finding those passes that open the door for NJCU. And at points there were a lack of that. And other times there were just misplays and mistouches coming from Holy Cross.
Yeah, I mean, again, we pointed out those mistakes coming from Holy Cross that we saw earlier on, but at the same time, you got to give it up to the Gothic Knights. They played absolutely lights out, where I saw little to no mistake coming from the Gothic Knights, and their ability to pass was on point. Every single time the ball was touched coming from the Knights, it was either on target or on its way to a teammate. There was no misplaced touches coming from the New Jersey squad.
Well, I'd like to say that both the teams stepped up to put on a show for us, and they did just that. But one team is a winner and one team is a loser. But guess what, Twitch chat? We aren't losers here on Thing. You're not losers on stream because we have more Rocket League actions coming up in a bit. My name's Foof. This is at Soko. We're going to be taking a short break, and after a bit, we'll be back.
Well, hello and welcome back to NECC Rocket League. I am your host this evening, Captain Atsoka, joined in the booth by none other than Foof. Foof, how are you doing?
I gotta say I'm doing great. A bit out of breath, running around the house, getting the excitement of the first series off and revving up for this one. We have another 2-3 going into a 3-2. We have OTSU sitting at that 3-2 squad, and then the Fanshawe Falcons sitting at 2-3. And so both of these teams in a very similar station. One team possibly moving up to stay above that 500, the other trying to make it to 500. So, both teams are in here. We stalled them long enough. I think they're raring to play at Soga.
I think they are too, but let's see how we're going to get things done on the field. One thing I will say going into this one, it looks like it's going to bode well for OTSU because they got some morale going into this one as they are coming off of a 3-0 sweep against JWU Blue.
That's all. I see a different score than that. That was their week one. That was their very first week. They're coming off of a 3-2 win, not 3-0 sweep.
That is still great news.
Well, they did throw off JWU in week one, but you have Fanshawe in the blue and OTSU in that orange side. And Jackie Moon looking for early one now, but he's stalled by his own teammates. So you have backstar Jackie Moon, and I couldn't see who that third player was on the side of Fanshawe. Looking for something early here as OTSU as they found their way into the offensive end for the first time in this kind of first 20 seconds.
Yeah, well, I am liking the demolitions on the field already, but right now it's going to be Vanry 2 looking for the 1-2 touch off the backboard, couldn't get it, and I'm liking all the contests going on the field. No touch has been unanswered just yet. Every single time we've seen someone go for a shot, go for a pass, there has been a defender up and in their grill, literally contesting every touch.
Yep, and a one going back there, and Van Rye, too, clearing that all the way out to midfield. Caught by Treads for now, but it's still denied. Barney waiting underneath someone. He's going to try and find a shot, but that is a 50 coming out, and it keeps it away from that Fanshawe. Now, that's a dangerous one there as it left it open, but T1 right now under a little bit of siege as they try to get the ball out midfield. The Falcons still looking to break through and probably break the ice.
Well, still sitting at 2 buttery bagels here. The 0-0 scoreline. Once again, one of the longer matches it has taken us to find the back of the net so far. But again, this is just showing us how evenly matched these two teams are. And again, we're just seeing what could be considered the feeling out process. I didn't want to say it because it's a little cliche, but that's what it feels like right now. I'm not really seeing any teams really bring out some banger plays. It just feels like a tug of war and a classic back and forth.
It's just kind of that game one of making sure you don't overcommit, you don't find your way, and that's Saw destroys as they're trying to find a play there. A pass out midfield, but unable to find anything going here. So now 120 seconds almost have gone off of this clock, and we've seen a couple of shot attempts. I think a couple entirely from both sides maybe combined together, but the offense right now being stalled in the corners. Jackie Moon, unfortunately, landing right in front of their teammate. Backstar can't play with it as well, so it goes all the way back. So, the old soccer adage or the old rugby adage, just passing backwards to go forwards, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to do. There's nothing wrong with a good old-fashioned back pass. We see it all the time in Rocket League, but you have got to do it when your teammates are in the right position. Otherwise, you're really just helping out the other team. But with that being said, we're seeing a lot of respect being shown out on the field so far, and that was the one thing I've been waiting to see, some midfield pass plays, and that was a good attempt coming from Backstar, but the only problem was the shot just wasn't on target. But still, I'm glad we're starting to see some real attempts being made at getting on the board.
Well, pass midfield denied. Backstar looking for this one. It's going to be stolen from either way. He puts a shot on anyway. He doesn't need the boost. He'll take the goal, and the Falcons strike first.
Yeah, you see, we saw Backstar miss that first shot, but he's not going to miss the second. That was great placement there, catching right at the bottom of the crossbar to put that one down and in right before we hit that 2-minute mark.
Yep, 9 seconds above, so about 125 seconds left to be played now as Jackie Moon off the wall here. It rolls back down, and that was almost a second there for Fanshawe. No, it is going to be a second shot as that is Van Rye 2 to score the second goal for the Falcons.
Now, you see, was this a tactical whiff here? Because I'm watching Jackie Moon. It looked like they were jumping to go for it, but it threw me off. It threw the defense off, and that one just finds the lower 90 for Fanshawe. And now they have a 2-0 lead with 2 minutes left on the clock.
Well, it's just a quick play there to open the door. Shot attempt coming on, but Treads is a bit too far off to the left. This is going to be Saw Destroyer trying to find it here, but he can't get it to go. Barney with a 50. I like the idea. OTSU starting to lean forward, trying to find one here, but Ontario Tech, excuse me, cannot break through this defensive line. The Falcons just continue to rotate around.
Now I'm trying to pronounce that player's name. Was it Sad Destroy or Sod Destroy?
It's Sod D Destroys.
Saw D Destroys. Understood.
Yep.
You know, it's hard. You know, you see all these different names. You know, it's you gotta get it right before you just throw out names willy nilly. You know, a lot of these players, you know, they like their names pronounced correctly. I know I do. I can't tell you how many times I've heard Captain Atsuka instead of Captain Atsoka. You know, so yeah, we got to get it right. But speaking of getting things right, Fanshawe once again getting things right on offense. They are able to keep OTSU in their own half, even still only holding on to that 2-0 lead as we just get underneath a minute. It could be all they need to get the dub here in game number 1.
Well, Fanshawe doing that and adding to it here as that one goes high. Jackie Moon, though, cleaning it up and able to put it in. The Falcons up by 3.
And again, this was just a textbook backboard read. The pass coming from Von Ritu off of the backboard. And like you said, the little boop, the little tap-tap-tap-a-roo to put that one into the back of the net. Now 3-0 in favor of Fanshawe.
Backstar stalling there. It's going to be up to Treads to get something going. He's got a good idea. Needs a second touch and finds it. That beats that third. And playing up is Saw Destroyer as he's able to get that one. Saw Destroys as they're able to get that one on and find their first.
Now you see, there we go. That was a quick goal. That happened in rapid succession. As soon as we saw Fanshawe go up 3-0, the rebuttal came from OTSU, and they scored just as quickly. Now 42 seconds on the clock. Still plenty of time in Rocket League years. You know, they can still find the 2 goals they need to equalize, but it's just not very probable. Still possible, though.
Yep, highly improbable as that clock continues to kick. It gets harder and harder. Saw Destroys looking for that one. That's an angle, but it's just not enough in the back of the net. And so, OTSU still leaning forward, looking for a shot here is denied by Jackie Moon. And so, Fanshawe under siege right now, starting to sweat a bit as this offense beginning to mount and continuing to find shots. So that was all 3 players in the corner. It allows a quick break, and Fanshawe giving a moment of respite. Now with 5-4-3, it's now physically impossible. Fanshawe looking to put this one, another one in. Jackie Moon is up, a 50 coming up. No, it just goes off the backward and falls back down. And so, not a lot coming of it as that ball stays on this OTSU side. Backstar on the side wall, waiting for this to bounce down. It's more of a formality at this point. We talked about it last game. It was trying to find that one goal perhaps to go away, but Backstar slams it down.
Well, I mean, it's not just that, but keep in mind the same way that we strictly adhere to rule number 1, I feel like that same energy needs to be had for rule 0. Keep the ball up as long as you can.
That's ancient text now, at
Hey,
Soka.
you could call it what you will. I call it a rule, and a rule is a rule. If we're playing rule 1 and 2 people have to be locked face-to-face on the field for as long as possible, then, hey, rule 0 still applies as well. And honestly, if we want to get into the debate, I say that keeping the ball up at 0 is the original Rule 1, but that's for a different show at a different time. Regardless, you just see the first win go on the board and then went down in favor of Fanshawe. The Hawks really coming in hot. Or was it the Falcons? I'm sorry. Some type of, it's always a predatory bird. There's always some mean bird with some claws. With
You've never seen a pigeon team.
You've never seen it, but we do have a Pigeon Man title. We don't have a pigeon team because we have a pigeon champion.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, right now, Fanshawe up in this series, taking game 1 and doing so in a pretty commanding fashion after getting out to an early lead. Van Rye, too, already passed another. He's just got to get it off of the post to find a pass. But that defensive push from Barney, very aggressive, caught Jackie Moon asleep as Saw Destroys. Looks to get that clear. Backstar putting it back down, but it's a clear back to midfield, and the pressure still on as Fanshawe denied here. Back out to midfield, and the redirect attempt unable to get it to go.
Yep, and now, again, we're seeing OTSU really hold things down at the midfield, and that's where they were getting the most of the damage done. They were keeping, you know, OTSU really confined to their own half. But now that we're starting to see them kind of develop a little bit more and, you know, they're really starting to rotate towards the midfield. I know it's still early, but I like the presence that they're having early on.
It's always great to kind of establish yourself, be it physically, be it mentally, or presently at that midfield. That's a pass midfield, but there is no one in reply. And Treads taking that one and almost sneaking it past Jackie Moon, who was not up for that one, but was deep enough to not be beat by that long shot. Tread's waiting for the touch here, but that is Sawed just again with another denial. So quick on these 50. Backstar trying to play slow, trying to patient that one out, and he's going to be able to catch her. This one, a double commit turns into a pinch. Is Sawed waiting to catch up to this one and pushing it back out to midfield themselves.
Yep, now going high and up on the side. With that touch finding its way back towards the midfield, and I do got to say I love the demo that just came out there right at the last second. Definitely going to stir things up a little bit, as now that's going to be an extra player who was out for 3 seconds and has to get back into rotation. Doesn't make it very easy for an offense to find the back of the net when you're still scrambling to find your position on the field.
Both teams seem to be in a bit of a scramble right now. If neither team just holds on to possession for very long, it's a touch or two, and then a long clear, and then a 50, and then a return the other way. Sawed trying to break a trend. That one is immediately... Jackie opting to go for a boost instead of the immediate clear, so we'll see if they get stifled out here using a flip, and not a lot of the boost. Barney quick to answer. Van Rye looking all the way to Jackie. Jackie trying to catch it here, but that 50 stalling it out. A pass attempt midfield. It's up high. It's going to bounce off the backboard, but no real press means Saw just quick to once again throw it back out midfield.
Yeah, and this doesn't look too, different from game number one. Like we were saying, it took them a while to get the first goal on the board, and now we have reached halftime, and there's still 2 big whopping goose eggs on the board, just 0-0. So again, we're seeing a lot of respect being showed from both teams, because no team wants to be the one to make the mistake or give anything away for free. They're really playing tight-knit grit Rocket League.
I mean, it's tight grip, but it's also loose grip, because they're not holding on to the possession at so it's just kind of willy-nilly, and a lot of opportunistic plays, to say the least, is they're putting touches on. They're trying to find these touches and find these passes maybe, but it's not a very good supporting cast. The second, third are very far off if you look at the side of Fanshawe. And OTSU, they're able to break out in spurts, but they don't have a lot of resources to chase it up, and with Fanshawe not having that second and third pushed up, they're back on defense ready to play in this transition, and so it's just kind of a weird stalemate right now where one team is aggressively attacking and the other team is aggressively blocking. And so we'll see which ends, the unstoppable force to the unmovable object.
So what you're telling me here is that Fanshawe is being passive-aggressive offensively.
Yes.
But regardless, the point to be made here is that we're seeing a lot of attempts being shot on the backboard. They're being shot on target, forcing goalies to make saves, and they're hoping to get some type of a rebound goal. But what they need to do is really start developing intentional pass plays to each other, whether they're in the opponent's half or at the midfield. You can't just keep shooting on target over and over again and hope to catch a rebound, because both teams defensively have caught on to that play style. They know it's going to happen.
Well, there it is.
But nobody saw Jackie Moon happening, and as they come out of the sky to crash down on this touch, and still a nice pass from Backstar, taking that one off of the wall, right back down into the middle, leaving it for Jackie Moon. And just like that, we finally have our first goal of the game.
Well, it's what happens when you finally have the third wanting to kind of commit when they have a chance at midfield, and that opens the door for more plays to happen. Van Rye, too, with another one immediately coming off the kickoff.
Yep, and that's Backstar. Backstar is the new 50 god. I'm telling you, Backstar is the 90-10 of this series. That's the second 50-50 that they won that led to a pass being developed so that way they can score yet another goal. Right now, we want to talk about, of course, the people that are scoring the goals, but Backstar right now has 100% goal participation. 2 assists, 2 goals on the board. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Now they're sitting comfortably with a 2-goal cushion in favor of Fanshawe.
Oh, an attempt there coming from OTSU, but he didn't have the flip, so no doozy. Now a dangerous spot to be as they're trying to dissuade this offensive push from Fanshawe. Half a minute remains as OTSU still trying to find their first win of this series. Wall off the sidewall. Backstar over one into the corner, trying to find a pass. He's got it out midfield, but it's another touch off the backboard, so it slows that momentum down, which opens the door for OTSU to get this clear. That's going to be a push here from Saw. That's a touch coming on, but a denial. Keeping it away means once again OTSU has to do the impossible.
And yeah, that's just not going to happen today. The final second ticks away. It is 0 on the clock, and that will be an ending of 0 goals for OTSU, which is kind of a feels bad, man. Nobody likes being shut out. You don't like to see it. And now it will be match point in favor of Fanshawe, as now they will go up in the series 2-0.
Well, I mean, it's just once again Fanshawe having a little bit more offense that turns over in the end, and it was them being willing to have that third person cheat up in that second move up into the play that opens the door for the shot to the pass to the finish. Whereas you look across the pitch at OTSU, they're not able to clean it up at Soka. They're not being as clean as you want them to be. They have to find that answer, folks, in a way that you really started is not by just lobbing it down the field, you know? I love anytime a quarterback just winds up and throws it. We call it chuck and duck for a reason, but in Rocket League, when you do that, you have to use so much resources to catch back up to it, and when you're under siege like they have been, you don't have the boost to follow it.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. It's hard for me to come up with a rebuttal because I 100% agree with you. The only thing that I would say is, pretty much what I was saying in the middle of the match. Use that extra boost and slow things down a bit. You don't have to go all gung-ho every single play. Take your time a bit. But you know what? Fanshawe, they don't have to take any time whatsoever. 3 seconds into the match, forget about it. Let's just put a goal on the board anyway.
I mean, guess who it is again? Backstar winning it up on the 50 and the finish from Van Rye. I think I've seen this one before, not even 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of deja vu on the field, but still, they score that first goal early, setting the tone for this game number 3. And if you're OTSU, it is not looking well for you. Backstar looking to get yet another one, but gets denied at the goal line. Now here comes Van Rye, too, looking for the midfield pass. And that's what we were looking for. We're looking for those pass plays. They weren't able to find the back of the net, but at least they're making the attempts. They're communicating. They're passing the ball around, or as I like to say, they are sharing the sugar.
Yep, the sugar is certainly being shared as I accidentally almost closed the VMix out there. That would have been bad. As Backstar waiting for it here, a bump. Clearing it from Saad. Van Rye waiting for it here. Van Rye, waiting at midfield. But Saad, another big touch. He's trying to win this one. Jackie, though, denying it. A shot coming on, but denial on that back side. Moon into the corner. Playing slow here is Treads and Barney, and so they're trying to find that clear. And so as we kind of crest this first minute, Van Rye looking for another one. It's bouncing in and out, and it won't go in. Oh, the humanity. Treads was looking for a quick answer, but he cannot get it to go.
Yeah, again, even when they're not finding the back of the net, they're still finding the back of the net. Just didn't get it all the way to go that time around, but still their offense is still unrelenting as they continue the assault and holding what feels like a solid line of defense right there at the midfield, keeping OTSU from developing any type of offense whatsoever.
Well, it's about trying to change and evolve what they're bringing to it. And so you have to wonder what they will do to adapt to this defense that is just stifling them time and time and time and time again at Soka, because they only had the singular shot last game. And so when you get to this side of the field, you wonder, maybe it's bumps, maybe it's demos, maybe it's boost steals. It's got to be something, because down a goal and down 2 games, you have to get creative, or else you're going to be looking at this sweep.
And unfortunate, but still a little under 3 minutes to go, and they will finally get on the board, and we got ourselves a tie ball game, Foof.
Well, I mean, that's a way to do it, as Treads opened the door with that near post pass, and Backstar was in the perfect spot. He just cheats up too far in the net, leaving that back post open. And so that's something you will kind of figure out in Rocket League, is that you actually want to sit further back post, because you can cover near post, but get caught with that little bit of too much excitement for the near post shot. And now it's 1-1, 2 minutes and 45 seconds left. And now a dangerous spot to be in for both of these squads. We find ourselves in equilibrium once again.
Which is honestly a nice place to be, especially when we're heading into halftime. Seems a little bit, again, reminiscent of the first 2 games, as we went through the entire length of the game being deadlocked at a stalemate, even though there were no goals scored. Still, now we have 2 goals scored, but it's still at a deadlock.
Very slow play here from both these sides. As Fanshawe, they had struck early and then kind of looked to rest on their laurels, and now they have to play more offense. They have to kind of shake things back up, where OTSU, they have found an answer, perhaps maybe the one that needs to spark this whole team. This is a dangerous spot, though. Jackie Moon pass, Backstar putting it back midfield, and Jackie again, it's putting it back up high. Van Rye, he's got bumps for him there, but a clean clear coming all the way out from Saw destroys.
Yeah, but they love that, though. They love those long clears, because you're just giving position and possession away back to Fanshawe. So they like getting the ball back, because they like being able to dance around with it, try and work some plays loose. As now Saad is trying to put that one in, but does not, as this will go out back towards the side. And now Jackie Moon hitting this one up to Von Ritu, who's going to try and do some aerial acrobatics, puts this one on, but not in. The save came out in spades for OTSU as the ball finds its way all the way back to Backstar.
It's a good touch there from Tread, waiting for it. Is this Fanshawe team, and they have been stalled a bit. They were playing so confident in games 1 and 2, but now, I don't want to say a lack of confidence, but a more timid approach here as they're starting to be pushed in by this OTSU team. That's a pre-flip there going possibly wrong. Van Rye waiting for his teammate Jackie Moon down at Backstar. Backstar trying to kickstart here. He's going to catch up this one, but doesn't have a lot of boost, so opts to let it fall instead. So now, under a minute to be played, 1-1 apiece, and Fanshawe trying to put a 3-0 stamp on this series.
Yep, now Jackie Moon has the fast break play, and it's the fast break pass plays that is going to win the games. What a 1-2 touch from Jackie Moon, finding the midfield pass over to Von Ritu, and then after that, it was just a matter of getting to the ball first. Well-placed shot and way to be quick reaction on the pass. Fanshawe 2 is going to go up 2-1 against OTSU.
And Fanshawe collecting there as they're trying to find another one here. Barney waiting for Treads' touch, and now he's going to have to get another one here, trying to find a third, but can't get to go. Van Rye off the sidewall, pushing it again. Now he's staying with it in a 1v1. Assad is destroyed for his troubles, and Backstar had an opportunity. Jackie wins a 50, keeping the pressure on, but now Treads looking for a passing play of OTSU's own. Assad looking for this one. He's got it to go in, and it's 2-2.
Well, then there we go. All of a sudden, we're seeing the passes come out, and it's like, you know, oh, if so facto, what a bit of serendipity. The goals start to come out. And now, don't get me wrong, that was a little bit of a mistouch coming from the defense, but still, it was the offense that got the ball there and pinched it to go up high into the sky to bounce that one down to their teammates. So once again, this match is deadlocked at 2 with the final seconds remaining. Will a team find the back of the net one more time, or will we see some OT as the clock hits 0? The shot is on, but it will not go in.
Still up.
But, yeah, the ball is still very much well and alive as this will go down, and guess what, Foof? We got overtime.
Yep, finally, at Soka, the clock will stop counting down and begin to count up until we have that golden goal be scored. And so, Fanshawe, they have been in control time and time again, folks, whereas OTSU, they are trying to find an answer. 50 coming through. That's going to be a shot attempt, but Backstar is there. And so Jackie Moon and Backstar both on this wall here. A pass midfield, but there is no one in net to receive it, so it's a kind of a stall danger touch as Backstar getting a recipient touch there, is able to clear it this time. So a very nice handshake there from Possessions as the pass comes through and breaks free onto this orange half.
I'm not going to lie, the more that I watch Backstar play, the more I think that they are probably one of the most aggressive 3 players I have ever seen in the third spot. Like, they're always back to get the save, and yet they're the first person on the field to get the demolition and find a pass. This is like the most aggressive defensive player I think I've seen so far in the NECC.
It's like a Brian Dawkins, maybe. Ray Lewis.
I don't know who that is.
Old school football. Don't worry about it. Jackie Moon waiting for it there, putting pressure on, and Backstar playing from the third, laying the boom and putting it in. The bumps from Jackie keeping them up high, and then you called it, waits to catch it in the third and collects it.
Oh, yeah, I know what I said because I was there when I said it. Backstar is the most aggressive 3 player that I have seen in the NECC. But with that being said, big kudos to Von Ritu for picking up a well-deserved MVP medal there, getting 2 goals on the board and a lot of sharing of possession coming from Fanshawe. Everybody got a piece of the ball, whether it was from assists or whether it was from goals being scored, and especially shots taken. Their shot count was sky high. So they did a really good job of passing the ball around and really keeping OTSU confined into their own half and not giving them a lot of time of possession.
So I don't want to look over here before the screenshot comes up, but I believe it was 7-2-4 on the side of that Fanshawe team. So that brings it, what, to 9, 13 shots. We'll see when the screenshots come up to see the actual score. But that is an insane amount of shots to be a 1-goal game. And, oh, it was 7-4-3. It was 14. I was close. And all that really matters is that Fanshawe did it in a way that they outshot them 14-10, folks. And so that's an incredibly offensive-sided game. But at the end of the day, Fanshawe was able to consistently have that second, third chance opportunity where the man, the myth, the legend, my wonderful co-caster said, Backstar playing that third steps up to find the mission and puts the nail in the coffin for the game and the series.
Yeah, not just that, though, but when we're talking about Backstar, of course, we're not just talking about Backstar. It's the whole team. You look at the save count from Fanshawe, each player got 2 saves on the board.
Only 2 each.
Yeah, everybody was rotating perfectly, literally catching every single save that they possibly had to. And that was really the big issue with OTSU, is that they were putting shots on target, but they were having trouble finding the back of the net. And honestly, for me, at least in my own taste, I say there was too little demos, too little physical plays being had done on the field. I think we would have saw a higher scoring game because, honestly, if you can't find the back of the net, when in doubt, bump them out. That's what I say.
I mean, if it rhymes, it'll usually stick a little bit harder. So, maybe Atsuka, we got to get it like stitched onto a pillow. Honestly, Atsuka, I want you to, I would pay for this. I want to get a plaque that says when in doubt, bump it out. And I want you to sign it and I'll put it up there for you. I'd love to have 100%. That, but when in doubt, bump it out, folks. And now our second series falls away. A 3-0 sweep for the Fanshawe Falcons as they improve their series records and look to move on. But that is not it for us. We're going to be taking a short break. And after a bit, we'll be back with more NECC Week 6 action. See you then.